we have moved the Headies from Nigeria to the city of Atlanta. The next awards would happen at Cobb Energy Center on 2nd of July in Atlanta.
Motola ni mi Asake.
Actually, the soundtrack to my phone now. Bro, good. How about you, man?
But dude, Headies.
That's nice, man.
The Headies is moving to U.S.A.
Bro, yeah.
And this decision is a very, very big one. I don't think it was taken lightly.
I wouldn't say the decision was... The decision itself might have been taken lightly. The work it requires to get there wouldn't have been taken lightly. For example, you are going from like a different brand car, a different brand for the next rated price. I don't want to mention the brand. You are not paying us. Thank you. To the Bentley. Even if the Bentley is not paying us, you can still mention the Bentley. 2022 Bentley. The problem though is I wouldn't say that. But look at the sponsors, for example. I mean the partners, Netflix, CNN, all these other companies, and it looks like the production this year is going to be way, way better than it used to be. So yes, I don't think the decision might have been taken lightly. The work it requires to go do it there wouldn't have been done easily.
So you think it's a case of who pays the piper?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Interesting. What was the mood at this announcement?
The mood was very interesting. You could see in the air that people were trying to be civil. Like, I think we knew before then that it was, like, the news that we had known for a few months. If you're in the music industry, you would have known for, I think I knew in like October, November. So I think a lot of people then knew, but the problem is a lot of people that didn't know, you know when you're trying to be civil, you are sitting there like, what the hell? But you don't want to be because they invited you for this. So you don't want to be rude. But then the mood changed when everybody saw the Bentley. And then I think Buju was there, Eki was there, Goya Meno was there. And Ayo Animashaun took a lot of pride in announcing it with his tailored suit. Shout out to Ayo Animashaun.
This is interesting. But do you think this decision is a great one, or do you think it's going to bite them?
I think the problem with a lot of people is, I don't think it's a problem. I just think it's a layered conversation. The biggest problem I have in life is oversimplification. I feel like people oversimplify a lot of concepts, and the problem is life is never white or black. You have to understand what exists in the gray. First things first. Afrobeats, no, let's start with the Headies first. The Headies over the past few years, they have become, the Headies, it's going to be the 15th edition in 17 years, bro. That's a lot of work. That's a long time. Like you can't shortchange that for anything. Most people can't even hold an award for 3 years. Where are all the awards that they started with? Where's Amen Awards? Where's Channel Low Music Awards? Where's even Mama that started 4 years after they started? Like all these things, they are not here anymore. So to do it for 15 years, I know it's not been perfect, but 15 years is a long time. But the problem is, since the Burna episode, where Burna lost the next category to Shantizo, even though I said it last year that I don't think it was an upset, it was as much as an upset as people think. I don't even think it was an upset at all. It's not like I don't think, it wasn't an upset at all. Because when you look at the trajectory and the things that they both released during the year review, you understand that Shantizo was a clear winner. It's just the problem of Burna was a cooler winner, so a lot of people thought he was going to win. Anyway, let's go back to this conversation. It messed with their credibility, and then the win for Lil Kesh for Ricardo over Lil Kesh, and then some awards over the years, maybe best rap album category, album of the year category. This person is winning. This person is not winning because they are not attending. Burna Boy losing because he has not been attending for a while. All these things, it led to credibility issues for the platform. So people started critiquing it a lot more. But the problem is this: you have to understand that the only reason why people are going to be critiquing you, the only reason why anybody cares about you in the first place, it's because they invested in you. It's because they rate you. If nobody rated you, nobody will be talking about you. Have you seen anybody talking about which award they was in New York again? I don't even know the award. Sorry, I'm sorry. I won't mention your name. Nigeria Entertainment Award. I think that's what it is. Anyway, the problem is, do you see anybody making noise about that award? Oh, Whiskey should have won that. Why is somebody not performing here? Something. You don't see anybody saying that. The only award that anybody talks about, nobody even talks about the mamas and I talk about the Headies. So you have to understand people are invested. People don't see it as an Ayo Animashaun thing. They see it as a Nigerian thing, quarterbacked by an Ayo Animashaun. And that's a good thing. It's a compliment to him. It's also a compliment to the award. So the thing is, when they lost credibility, people started bashing them because they were invested in the idea. Oh, this shouldn't have happened. And to be honest, let's not lie to ourselves. Some of those decisions were horrible. Nominations, especially, it has gotten better over the past 3-4 editions. Shout out to the Academy. It's gotten better. It's gotten increasingly better. Like, it's more inclusive. You are seeing Odusi get a nomination. You are seeing Teyiwa get a nomination. You are seeing Dinade get a nomination. You are seeing Olu, that a lot of people didn't even know get a nomination. You are seeing Jades get a nomination. You are seeing Brimo get a win for Yellow. Like, those things were not happening before. It felt like the award was just reserved for the mainstream and for the people that were more successful. But over the past few years, it's not been perfect. But the improvements are clearly there. And then the problem is artist relations for the Headies has been bad. I wrote a thread on my Twitter some months ago. The gap between the award and the industry is too much. If your desired audience is critiquing you and your artists are not even, they don't even want to attend as much, then you should try to bridge that gap with content. Hip TV Instagram page is doing fantastic. Capitalize on that. All those things. Anyway, so that's how we got here. And then problem is when the Headies started losing some form of, when the critique for the Headies started, or when they started hitting the zenith, Afrobeats to the world became a thing. You understand? So, Headies, Afrobeats, Headies, it started going like this. Now, a lot of people think culturally the mecca of Afrobeats is Lagos. I mean, some are going to say London. Anyway, but it's Lagos. A lot of people even wrongly think that Afrobeat is a Nigerian thing. It's not just a Nigerian thing, but that's a conversation that we have addressed in the past. Go and watch the episode. So when you look at it, if the premier award for Afrobeats, which is Africa's biggest music export right now, is losing credibility, there's something that has to be done about it, no? Something has to be done. So in a way, this is about Ayo Animashaun saying, oh, this is losing credibility. There's also, Afrobeats is also like the biggest thing right now. Maybe not the biggest thing, but it's the most trend-worthy genre right now. It's the cool genre right now that everybody wants to jump on. You are seeing Madonna do a Frozen remix with an Afrobeats artist, bro. It doesn't get, like, over the past 18 months alone, we have had 3 Billboard Hot 100 hits. That's not that. No, I didn't even think I was going to see it over the next 10 years, personally. So the thing is, when that starts to happen, and all these things, Afrobeats is growing. ABC called Afrobeats the new pop. ABC News. What else do you want more than that? DW has done a documentary about Afrobeats. There are about 4 documentaries about Afrobeats going on. Bankole is doing one, Ayo Animashaun is doing one, then Mobi Asika doing one. A bunch of people are doing Afrobeats documentary. Do you know why? Because it's so hot right now, right? So, if that thing is so hot, that if we are not careful, it's gotten to America now. It's going to mainstream Europe right now. If we are not careful, they are going to create it for us. They're going to create our own award for us. And they're going to start hosting it in the US. Like we saw it with Afrobeats charts in the UK. Didn't we? We saw it. Like Latin Grammys right now, because those ones didn't have a vision. Latin Grammys host in the US now. The last one hosted in Vegas, held in Vegas. So if we are not careful, our own narrative will belong to us anymore. The ancillary products that are peculiar to Afrobeats. Shout out to Turntable Charts. If Turntable Charts decided a chart, they would have started our charts for us. And it's important that we at least own something from this entire movement. So in a way, you have to understand why someone taking the award to that place, it's trying to, number 1, bridge a gap with the artist. Number 2, create this thing like, oh, I've been the one doing this thing for the past 15 years. Oh, and white people rate experience, bro. Let's not even go there. I've been doing it for 15 years. You are receiving the endorsement. Number 3, it's also putting the ownership stamp of a Nigerian thing in that space. Now it's going to become a problem if you now if you start holding it in the US exclusively. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Personally, it's not my opinion on this show, but I wouldn't have a problem with it if you do it in the US now to gain some form of ground and then bring it back here. A lot of people have even criticized Ayo Animashaun for not turning it into an African award. It should have become an African award because it's the most talked about African award, music award ever. Like, it is. So a lot of people have criticized Ayo Animashaun for not turning it into an African thing. So I wouldn't have a problem with it if you were to do it now because of some of these reasons I've stated, and then you bring it back home. It's going to be a problem if you are now taking it to there and you are not bringing it back here. It's going to be, that's proper sellout stuff. That's factual. It's proper sellout stuff. Do it there this year, then bring it back here because of affirmation problems. And then there's also the optics around this thing, right? A lot of people are criticizing it because it's a vain move. It's all about this thing. It's all about the money. It's all about this thing. I'm not even going to separate the entire idea of doing the Headies in Nigeria. I'm not going to say it's all noble. No, I'm not going to say it's all noble. It's definitely not all noble. I mean, the game is a game, my brother. It's capitalism, right? And Ayo Animashaun is also doing it to pride position himself. It's fine. The game is a game. If I was holding the Headies as well, I'll probably try to position myself. Let's not even lie to ourselves. I know we all like to behave like hypocrites. Oh my God, I'm shuddering right now. My brain is freezing. My brother, when you get there, you are going to feel it. When the responsibility is on your shoulder, we are going to know what you are going to do. Until then, I've seen a lot of people that are criticizing. Some of them on media platforms. We see what your media platform is doing. So please, you don't have the right to criticize this award. Let's move on. Anyway, the optics around this, there are people that say it's a business model, but I mean, the Headies, it's a product at the end of the day. It's a product, and it's meant to make money. Bro, it makes money already. Sponsors want to jump on it because of the ratings, because of the viewership, because of the content that it creates, because of the conversations around it on social media, because of all these things. For example, look at it this way. Cristiano Ronaldo, I've said it on the show before. Cristiano Ronaldo, when Juventus wanted to announce Cristiano Ronaldo, before they made the announcement, do you remember that announcement, the Ronaldo 7 announcements? Do you know the amount of money they made of that stuff? You know the amount of sponsors that vied to be associated with that? Because the business these days, the media business these days, eyeballs, bro. Eyeballs. Who is saying it? Who is reacting to it? Right? So if Ayo Animashaun is doing something that people are already saying and they are reacting to, they have been reacting to it over the past 15 years of his life. So it only makes sense that you want to capitalize on the full potential of what you've been pushing over the past 15 editions and make more money of it. It's fine. I'm not mad at it. And it's also fine for people to also say that, oh, it's not all noble. Oh, what Motolani is saying is not great. It's not the entire truth. Because Ayo Animashaun is not doing this because of it's all noble. I'm not denying that. It's not all noble, right? But the thing at the end of the day is there are reasons, there are arguments to be made for, and there are arguments to be made against. But it's good, like a friend of mine said, it's going to be sad if the first edition of the Headies with good production is going to be the one held outside Nigeria. It's going to be really sad. Because one of the biggest criticisms for the Headies have attracted over the past 5 years is because the production has not been going. It's not been going. So if now, because we're holding that, because it's being held outside Nigeria, because international observers are watching, the production gets better all of a sudden, that's going to be a big shame. Especially if you then bring it back and the production is trash again. And shout out to the Bentley. I'm an artist now. I'm an artist now. My name is Lil Mo.
Lil Primo.
Bro, I did for you.
How much does Ayo Animashaun? How much credit does Ayo Animashaun deserve?
I think he deserves a lot of credit, like I said before. I think you can criticize him. I wrote him an open letter in 2019 after I went to the show and I had some things to say. People have written him open letters before. I read an open letter on Premium Times 2013, I believe. Nothing is perfect, especially awards. Things like awards and lists, you can never satisfy everybody. Everybody has stands, everybody has an agenda. Like, artists also believe, artists are narcissists, bro. Let's not even go there. Artists are narcissists. So even when they don't deserve something, they believe that they deserve it. So the game is a game. But when it comes to it, show me someone that has done 15 award shows in 17 years in Nigeria. Show it to me.
So next rated, who do you think is going to win next rated?
A lot of people are saying that this is the toughest next rated category ever. I'm going to do a listing about that very soon. It's very difficult to not see a cleanly contested next rated category. It's tough. Like, I was having this conversation with some of my friends some months ago, and we came to the conclusion that, bruh, have you seen the next rated category from 2009? They're talking, I believe MI was there, I believe Metro C was there, I believe Wandeko was there, I believe, who else was there? I can't remember who it was. The one that Wizkid won, have you seen the nominees? The one that Davido won, have you seen the nominees? The one that Wizkid won had Olamide there. So then the 2016 one that caused the wire. Ricardo Banks, Lil Cash, Korede Bello. Bro, that was a tough category. The only problem now is just recency bias. We have seen these guys go over the past few years, and we have not exactly seen a clean contested next rated category in a while. So a lot of people think, oh, this is the toughest one ever. No, it's not. So I believe the nominations this year will be Buju, Ayra, Loje, Ruga, Zeroliski. A lot of people are trying to say Mohbad doesn't deserve to be in the category, but where are you going to put Mohbad, to be honest? During the year in review, Mohbad has one of the biggest songs. He has like 2 of the biggest songs. KPK, Feel Good. Where do you want to put it? I mean, if you want to say someone like Ruga deserves it, or I'm not even going to argue, Loje deserves it, all these people deserve it, but you can't then say that Mohbad doesn't deserve it. He deserves to be in the conversation. But who's going to win it? I think there's only one winner in this category. And that's facts only.